Would the audience please rise? Please rise.
There's Charlie.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As principal of Bellefontaine High School, I welcome you to its 121st annual commencement.
May I invite you to join with me in bowing our heads and lifting our hearts to the God who has given us life and special occasions like today's. Let us pray. O God, although you are the seat of all knowledge and the fountain of all wisdom, we perceive that you are less concerned about our diplomas and degrees than you are about the purposes in our hearts and the purity of our spirits. Nevertheless, as we gather this afternoon, we gather both in celebration and in thanksgiving. In celebration of a mountain climbed, a goal achieved, a challenge accomplished, as these students become graduates with the turning of a tassel. And we come also in thanksgiving for teaching and guidance, for hard work and perseverance, and for opportunities made available and that have made possible this high moment. Bless these momentous moments and bless these happy, proud, and excited souls, and stir us to the pursuit of excellence, both in matters of the mind and in matters of the heart. Through him who is a light unto our path. Amen. Please be seated. I wish to express my congratulations to you members of the graduating class of 1990. It is a happy and exciting occasion for you to celebrate and for your families, your parents and families to celebrate with you. It is indeed a special time. And I'm pleased to have been invited to bring the baccalaureate message. But believe you me, I'm not deluded about this whole thing at all. I am very much aware that you are not going to hear a single word of anything Gary Moeller and I say today. You are not going to hear a word of this or remember it probably at all. And there are two reasons for that. The first reason is that your focus is not on this hour-and-a-half period this afternoon, but your focus is out there. What you're going to be doing today after these ceremonies are over, what you're going to be doing tomorrow, for some of you what you'll be doing this summer, and for a lot of you what you're going to be doing this fall and in life ahead. So your focus is out there, not here, and I realize that. No, I know you're not going to hear a word that we say this afternoon, and the second reason why I know that is true is because my son, Stephen, who is in your graduating class out there right now, said to me several weeks ago, "Now, Dad, I want you to remember that no matter what you say that day, we're not going to be paying any attention. We're not going to hear a single word of what you have to say, but this, Dad, please make it short." He reminded me of that a half an hour ago when we left the house. So I called up your principal, Mr. George Harris, and I said, "Mr. Harris, how many minutes did you say I had for the baccalaureate message?" "Minutes," he exclaimed. "I thought I said seconds." He really did say that. You will not be listening to what I have to say today, and so it would really be wiser if I simply turned and talked to your families and your parents out there, because they would be a much more attentive and receptive audience. But if you should overhear a little bit of what we're talking about, that would be okay too. Because if you were going to listen today, I would simply say there are just 2 points that I want to leave with you today. Now the first point, if you were listening, would simply be this: do not put down your education received here. Do not run down this school system that has given it to you, and do not put down this community, this relatively small community of ours, Bellefontaine, because honestly and truly, these are things you can be proud of. These are things you can be very proud of. If there is something that you missed while you were coming through, if there's something you feel you did not receive, something that wasn't provided for you, then I would suggest that you might want to look closely at yourself before you cast the blame on your teachers and the school system and our community. For we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be proud of here. So I would suggest you think about that. And if you feel like you want to run down the school system, the education that you've received in our community of Bellefontaine, then I would hope you would listen to these words that I found inscribed on a bronze plaque at the entrance of a building on the campus of Bethany College. We visited Bethany College many weeks ago for their baccalaureate and commencement services. Bethany College is a small liberal arts college affiliated with our disciple churches. It is located about 25 miles north of Wheeling, West Virginia, out in the hinterlands, out by itself, out near nothing where no one is, except those beautiful hills in West Virginia. But inscribed on that bronze plaque at the entrance to one of the buildings are these words: "This is the center of the universe. You can go anywhere from here." And I would say to you graduates today that you are standing in Bellefontaine, and for you, Bellefontaine now is the center of the universe. And you can go anywhere from here. Bellefontaine for you is the center of the universe, and this is your pivotal day, and you can go anywhere from here. Today it is placed into your hands. All that you've needed has been provided. Everything that is necessary has been readied and provided and available to you. You can go anywhere from here. That's the first point that I would make today. Now, if you were listening, the second point that I would want to make would come in the form of a brief story. A story about a contractor and a real estate developer who worked together effectively and successfully for many years. The contractor built homes, the real estate developer marketed them, and they had a very ongoing and productive business for a number of years. But the contractor reached the age when he was approaching retirement. And the real estate developer knew that, and so he called him into him one day and he said, "Bill, I know that you're reaching the time for retirement, and I know that is in your mind and in your thought, but I would like for you to build for me just one last house before you retire. And I would like for you to make it the nicest, loveliest home you have ever built. Use any materials that you choose regardless of their cost, but make it the nicest home you've ever built." "Very well," replied the contractor, "if that's what you would like, that's what I will build." And so he began to plan the building of his home. And the contractor thought to himself, "I've been in all these years an honest contractor, and here I am at the time for retirement. I do not have much of a nest egg laid up for a comfortable retirement, and this may be my last opportunity to get a really nice profit and lay aside something to really help me in my retirement to live in pleasure and enjoyment and comfort." So he began to build the house, and it was a magnificent structure. Everyone who passed by stopped and looked and said, "Wow, that's going to be a beautiful home. Wonderful." But the materials that he put into the house, he chose as second-rate materials, poor quality, inexpensive materials that would not last and that in a couple of years would deteriorate and have to be replaced. But he finished the house, and he went to the developer and he said, "The home that you have requested is now completed, all finished." "Wonderful," said the developer. "That's wonderful. You know, Bill, you and I have had all these years in our partnership, and it's been a great time. And I wanted to express my appreciation to you at these wonderful relationships we've had in working together. And so here, I want to present you with the key to this house because I wanted you to live in the nicest house you ever built to enjoy your retirement years." A great apostle in the greatest of all books said once for us, "As you sow, so shall you reap. If you sow to the flesh, from the flesh you will reap corruption, but if you sow to the Spirit, from the Spirit you will reap eternal life." It's a truth about life. Things have a way of coming back to us and catching up. And graduates in the class of 1990, I would say to you, don't sell yourself short. As you build the house of your life, choose the very finest and best quality materials to build that house. If you should choose the poor, inferior, second-rate qualities, virtues, principles, morals, and values, you may be forced to live in the consequences of those choices the rest of your life in that house of inferiorness. Don't sell yourself short. Strive for the very finest that you can be and do, and you will move to something that brings you greatness in reward. So, I would sum up my remarks to you today by saying, don't put down the things behind you. you can be proud of them and take great pride in what lies behind you and what brought you to this day. And choose the finest of qualities and the finest of things to construct your lives out of. And you will move ahead to a life of satisfaction and reward. In closing, I would like to leave you with the words again from that great apostle and from the greatest of all books, words of a challenging benediction of aspiration for the graduating members of the class of 1990. Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is gracious, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, do. And the God of peace will be with you. God bless you.
Friends, family, neighbors, faculty, honored members of the podium, and fellow classmates, I once again would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation on behalf of the class for your attendance here today. It is overwhelming to see all of your support. I would like to begin by thanking a few people who made an impact on my life or my classmates through our 4 years here at BHS. I'd first like to say thanks to the many teachers and faculty members who, with your words of wisdom and encouragement, will always be remembered by us. I also would like to thank them for pushing us when we needed pushed and for getting us to this point. I would next like to thank personally Mr. Harris, Mr. Myers, and Mr. Osmond for their help in making my job easier and for the answers that they gave me over the past 4 years. I would next like to thank you, the parents, family, neighbors, and friends who made our high school years complete and encouraged us to do the right thing. And finally, I would like to thank 3 very important individuals who helped me the most this past year with my duties as president of the class. They are as follows: Chad Dahl, the vice president, Lissa Hollepeter, the secretary of the class, and Emily Blair, the treasurer of the class. Without your opinions and work, my job would have been impossible. Once again, thanks to all. Over the past 4 years here at this school, the class of 1990 grew together and molded together as one big family. We played sports together, we worked on projects together, we had fun together, and we often felt that we'd never be able to be separated. However, as time went on, we knew that this day wasn't too far away. So today is here, and this has finally come to the attention of many that this will be the last time that we will be together all in one place ever again. More yet, this will be the last time that we will be together at this school. This brings back many memories of good times that we've had in school, and I couldn't think of a better place that I wanted to go to school than BHS. After today, some of us will be planning on furthering our education in college. Some will be starting to work soon and will continue to do so for some time, while still others will be leaving soon to other places in the U.S. to help serve our country in the armed forces. Whatever you may do or wherever you end up, always remember to stay in touch, and always remember that your fellow classmates support your strides towards success. With this in mind, however, I would like to read you a poem that I hope you will remember for years to come. This poem is important for your future and for your future lifestyles and attitudes towards life. It has been read at 3 previous commencement exercises by 3 of my family members, beginning with my father in 1956, and later by my brothers, as they each held the office of president of their class. Here it goes in 1990 for the fourth and final time. It is entitled The Man in the Looking Glass, and the author is unknown. The Man in the Looking Glass. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to a mirror and look at yourself and see what the man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother's whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring you back from the glass. You may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy, but the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but the final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. In our 4 years here at BHS, we've won a few and lost a few, but somehow I think we've won more than we've lost. We've overcome obstacle after obstacle, and still we're able to keep standing and striving forward. We finally reached the finish line and are approaching the yellow tape so that we can open new doors in our lives. I hope that each and every one of you open the right doors in your lives and that you live prosperously. Remember what these days were like and always keep a piece of them in your hearts. In closing, I bid you a fond farewell. It's been fun to serve you as your president. I hope that your life brings you only the best and that you achieve all of your goals. To my closest friends, you all know who you are. I express my greatest gratitude to you for allowing me to be part of your lives. May God bless all of you in every pathway of your lives, and may He watch over you day and night. I thank all of you, and I wish you the best of luck in your stride for success. Thank you.
How do we say goodbye when we never wanted to end? Why can't we just pretend there'll never be a goodbye? Oh, farewell, my friend. Why must this be the end? One day we'll meet again. Till then we say goodbye. Oh, we've had a celebration, an elation, just singing for you. Oh, it's been an inspiration, no consolation will ever do. So we want you all to know that it's hard to just let go, although we've got to try. How do we say goodbye when we never want it to end? Why can't we just pretend there'll never be a goodbye? Oh, farewell, my friend. Why must this be the end? One day we'll meet again. Till then we say goodbye. Yes, we say goodbye.
It is my distinct pleasure this afternoon to introduce to you those members of this graduating class who have been recognized by area and national organizations through the awarding of scholarships and special awards. Before I begin, the Bellefontaine High School administration, faculty, staff, and senior class would like to take this opportunity to express their appreciation to the many clubs, organizations, institutions, and individuals who have worked so hard to make these awards possible. Their efforts certainly exhibit the pride and enthusiasm that the Bellefontaine community has in its school system. The awards, which were presented this past Monday at a special ceremony and that are being recognized today, total $55,950 to the recipients, and this represents the greatest contribution to any single class in the history of Bellefontaine High School. To those members of the class that are being recognized, when you hear your name called, we ask that you please stand and remain standing until all of the information about your award has been read. Kenneth Lambert, son of Mr. and Mrs. Larry Lambert, the Communications Workers of America Local Award to Children of Employees, $250, and Ken is planning to attend the Hocking Technical College in Nelsonville, Ohio. Christina May Fergus, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Doug Fergus, the Ohio Association of Public School Employees Scholarship, $200. Christina plans to attend Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio. Chad David Dahl, son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Ward, the Ames Department Stores Scholarship, $500, and Chad plans to attend Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware, Ohio. Shannon Marie Epps, daughter of Mrs. Sharon J. Craig, the Dr. Earl Sloan Secretarial Administration Scholarship, $500. Shannon plans to attend Clark State Community College in Springfield. Stephen Brian Lantis, son of Reverend and Mrs. Paul Lantis, the Don Harris Memorial Music Scholarship, $500. Steve plans to attend Otterbein College in Westerville, Ohio. Stacy Ray Stam, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ray Stam, the Harold Kerr Post of the American Legion Auxiliary Scholarship, $500. Stacy plans to attend Owen Technical College in Toledo. Jeffrey Jones, son of Mr. and Mrs. Junior Jones, the Frank Castle Post 1080 of the VFW Scholarship, $500. Jeff plans to attend Bowling Green State University. Jeffrey Todd Heiser, son of Mr. and Mrs. James Houchin, the C.E. Knowlton Memorial Scholarship, $500. Jeff plans to attend the Florida Keys Community College in Key West, Florida. Jonathan C. Carabeau, son of Mr. and Mrs. David Carabeau, the Noble McFarland Memorial Scholarship, $800, and John plans to attend the University of Toledo. Tisa Michelle Scott, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Scott, the Noble McFarland Memorial Scholarship, $800. Tisa plans to attend Capital University in Columbus. Richard Troy Grant, son of Mr. and Mrs. Hewitt Grant, the Robert L. and Helen E. Ginn Memorial Scholarship, $800. Troy plans to attend the University of Cincinnati. Chad A. Gamble, son of Alan and Judy Gamble, the Logan County Youth Center Award Scholarship, $750. Chad plans to attend Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware, Ohio. Heather Suzanne Davis, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Davis, the Logan County Youth Center Award, $750, and Heather plans to attend The Ohio State University. Keely Wappelhorst, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Wappelhorst, the Kiwanis Club of Bellefontaine Scholarship Award, $750. Keely plans to attend Lima Technical College in Lima, Ohio. Scott Cortis Coleman, son of Mr. and Mrs. George Coleman, the BPOE Elks, number 132 Memorial Scholarship, $1,000, and Scott plans to attend The Ohio State University. Casey Sims, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dan Sims, the Harold Kerr Post number 173 of the American Legion Scholarship, $1,000. Casey plans to attend Wright State University in Dayton. James E. Orkins, Jr., son of Mrs. Gretchen Orkins, the Harold Kerr Post 173 of the American Legion Scholarship, $1,000. And Jim plans to attend Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. Dawn Michelle Oppie, daughter of Mrs. Peggy Wilcoxon and Steve Oppie, the J.C. Scholarship Award, $1,000, and Dawn plans to attend Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Deborah Elaine Cost, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Don Cost, the BEA Paula Kunter Educational Scholarship Award, $1,000, and Deb plans to attend Ohio University in Athens. Holly Jo Kern, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alan Kern, the BEA Paula Kunter Educational Scholarship Award at $1,000, and Holly plans to attend Ohio Northern University in Ada, Ohio. Michael Tremaines, son of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Tremaines, the Stieg Froman Memorial Scholarship, $1,000. Michael plans to attend the University of Toledo. Joanna L. Sullivan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Sullivan, the Fraternal Order of Police number 60 Scholarship, $1,000, and Joanna plans to attend Wright State University in Dayton. Thomas W. Stout, son of Susie Jones and Charles Stout, the Fraternal Order of Police number 60 Scholarship, $1,000, and Tom plans to attend Sinclair Community College in Dayton. John Michael Tabor, son of Mr. and Mrs. John Tabor, the A. E. Knowlton Foundation Scholarship, $1,000. John plans to attend The Ohio State University. Nancy Joan Ashcraft, daughter of Mrs. Pam Latimer and Mr. Bill Ashcraft, the Bellefontaine AMVETS number 105 Scholarship, $1,000, and Joni plans to attend Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Jennifer Hammond, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gene Hammond, the Fraternal Order of Eagles, Air Raid 2166, Floyd Frank Memorial Scholarship, $1,000, and Jennifer plans to attend Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware, Ohio. Matthew Chad Harshbarger, son of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Harshbarger, the Bellefontaine City Board of Education Academic, Effie Patterson Memorial Scholarship, $1,500, and Matthew plans to attend Goshen College in Goshen, Indiana. Robert Paul Rhodes, son of Mr. and Mrs. Bob Rhodes, the Bellefontaine City Board of Education Academic Scholarship, $1,500, and Robert plans to attend Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. Nancy Joan Ashcraft, daughter of Mrs. Pam Latimer and Mr. Bill Ashcraft, the Bellefontaine City Board of Education Academic Scholarship for $1,500. Candace Jacqueline Richards, daughter of Mrs. Betsy Easton and Dan Richards, the Bellefontaine Rotary Club General Scholarship at $1,600, and Candy plans to attend The Ohio State University. Shannon Marie Epps, daughter of Mrs. Sharon J. Craig, the Bellefontaine Rotary Club General Scholarship, $1,600. Chad David Dahl, son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Ward, the Susie Parker Memorial Scholarship at $2,300. Brandon Kyle Stanley, son of Mr. and Mrs. Nigel Stanley, the Susie Parker Memorial Scholarship, $2,300, and Brandon plans to attend The Ohio State University. Jennifer Jane Gleason, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Gleason, the Susie Parker Memorial Scholarship at $2,300, and Jennifer plans to attend The Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware. Jennifer Jane Gleason, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Gleason, the Mary Eleanor Morris Columbus Foundation Scholarship valued at $1,000 renewable each year for a possible $4,000. Nancy Joan Ashcraft, daughter of Mrs. Pam Latimer and Mr. Bill Ashcraft, the Mary Eleanor Morris Columbus Foundation Scholarship, again at $1,000 renewable each year for a possible $4,000. Amy Zoe Wireman, daughter of Elizabeth and James Wireman, the Mary Eleanor Morris Columbus Foundation Scholarship, $1,000 renewable each year for a possible $4,000, and Amy plans to attend Smith College at Northampton, Massachusetts. Lynn Marie Goff, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dale Goff, the Mary Eleanor Morris Columbus Foundation Scholarship at $1,000 renewable each year for a possible $4,000, and Lynn plans to attend Ohio Wesleyan University in Delaware, Ohio. The following two awards are given by out-of-county committees. Lynn Marie Goff, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dale Goff, the Robert C. Byrd U.S. Senate Honors Scholarship at $1,500. Rachel Marie Lloyd, daughter of Mrs. Connie Lloyd, Ohio Board of Regents, Ohio Merit Scholarship, $1,000 renewable each year for a possible $4,000, and Rachel plans to attend Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Finally, we have some non-monetary American Legion Award winners. These awards are given each year at graduation and are based upon leadership, ability to get along, creativity, and skillfulness in the art of diplomacy. The students are elected by a vote of their classes. There are 2 awards given to seniors, 1 man, 1 woman, and 2 awards given to freshmen, 1 gentleman and 1 lady. The seniors have already received their award at the ceremony last Monday, and so we ask that they just simply stand at their chair, please, when their name is read. As far as the freshmen are concerned, they do not know about this award yet. We ask that when the freshmen, when their names are read, that they please quickly come to the podium to receive their American Legion Award. The seniors are Lynn Marie Goff, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dale Goff, and Brandon Kyle Stanley, son of Mr. and Mrs. Nigel Stanley. The freshman awards go to Ryan J. Lane, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Lane, and Tanya Lynn Wildermuth, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Wildermuth.
I'm very pleased at this time to present to you the top 10 students of the class of 1990. These students have worked very hard during the last 4 years to attain a high degree of academic excellence. They are to be commended for the persistence of such an important goal. You, as parents, are to be commended for your constant efforts in instilling scholarship into the lives of these fine young adults. We at Bellefontaine High School are very proud of these young people and the contributions they make to our school and our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 10 students of the class of 1990, we ask that you please hold your applause until after all have received their certificates. Number 10, Matthew Chad Harshbarger, son of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Harshbarger. Julie Ann Petno, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Vincent Petno. Krista J. Jones, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Jones. Nancy Joan Ashcraft, daughter of Pam Latimer and Bill Ashcraft. Robert Paul Rhodes, son of Mr. and Mrs. Bob Rhodes. Chad A. Gamble, son of Mr. and Mrs. Allen Gamble. Chad David Dahl, son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Ward. Jennifer Jane Gleason, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Gleason.
It is my great pleasure to announce the co-valedictorians for the 1990 graduating class. Would they please come to the podium? Lynn Marie Goff and Amy Zoe Wireman. These young ladies maintained a perfect 4-point scholastic average during their 4 years of high school. Congratulations.
honored graduates of 1990, platform guests, parents, faculty, and friends of Bellefontaine High School. It's my privilege to introduce the speaker to you today, but just a moment or two, if I might indulge your time to speak to the graduates and to parents. 12 years ago this September, I asked two young first graders to join me at the radio station, it was then WTOO, to talk about their school career. I had just arrived in Bellefontaine and I was starting my career here as well. And I thought it'd be nice to talk to someone or a couple of young people that were facing their public school years. We had a very nice talk that day, and I'm sure none of us thought this day would ever arrive. One of these young people is graduating with us today. Cassie Ewing, do you remember that day 12 years ago? Won't you stand and take a bow? Okay. Cassie is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Tim Ewing. Cassie, I don't know about you, but I thought these 12 years have gone very quickly. I've watched this class develop with a keen interest. Maybe it's because I have a personal involvement. I'm pleased at how well each of the graduates have matured into young adulthood. I can assure you, as a parent and as the superintendent of schools, that I'm satisfied the Bellefontaine City Schools have given your son or daughter the best possible education they could obtain. As a parent and representing parents, I'm reminded of a song from Fiddler on the Roof, and it has some appropriate lines. It goes a little like this. Is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy at play? I don't remember growing older. When did they? When did she get to be a beauty? When did he grow so tall? Wasn't it yesterday when they were small? Swiftly flow the days. Seedlings turn overnight to sunflowers, blossoming even as we gaze. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Swiftly fly the years, one season following another, laden with happiness and tears. What words of wisdom can I give them? How can I help to ease their way? And to the graduates, my words of wisdom are few. If I could quote a quote that a member of your class used recently in senior farewell remarks, it is to say, courage is the capacity to confront the unknown. I believe we have prepared you to take the next step, to assume that courage. I believe you're ready for your future, to face the unknown. To each of you, I challenge you to use this education you have obtained then to the best of your ability. Let it help you to hone your skills, to set your goals high, and to go for it. Good luck, and God bless you. Gary Moeller is the head football coach at the University of Michigan. A new era was begun January 2nd, 1990, with the naming of Gary to this position to replace Bo Schembechler, who retired after 21 seasons. Gary's link to Bellefontaine goes back 25 years. In 1965, he was named head football coach and athletic director at the old Bellefontaine High School. He served in that capacity for 2 years. During that time, he compiled a 13-4-3 record and captured 2 straight Miami Valley League titles. To many old-timers in Bellefontaine, this was the high watermark of our Bellefontaine football program. Gary went on from here to join Schembechler at Miami University, where he served as an assistant coach. He moved with Bo to Michigan in 1969. In the following years, Gary has served as Michigan's defensive end coach and defensive coordinator. He is recognized as one of the most talented coaches in the nation for his defensive strategies. When Schembechler became ill during his tenure at Michigan, Gary filled in as the acting head coach. In 1977, Gary was named head football coach at Illinois, where he coached for 3 years, compiling a 6-24-3 record. Upon returning to Michigan, Gary continued his role as defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. In 1987, Moeller assumed the role of offensive coordinator for the team. Gary Moeller earned 3 varsity letters as center and linebacker at Ohio State University. He played on the 1961 Big Ten championship team, and he captained the 1962 Buckeye squad. He graduated from Ohio State University with a degree in physical education in 1963 and went on to play a year of summer pro ball with the Grand Rapids, Michigan Blazers. Gary married the former Ann Morrison of Lima, and they have 4 children, Susie, Amy, Andy, and Molly. His son, Andy, earned 4 letters at Michigan as an inside linebacker and captained the Wolverines in 1986. Gary tells me Andy was just about 1 month old when he and Ann arrived in Bellefontaine in 1965. Gary Moeller, it's indeed an honor to welcome you back to Bellefontaine as we salute you for a very successful career in college athletics. I present you to the 1990 graduating class of Bellefontaine High School, Mr. Gary Moeller.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Excuse me just 1 minute, graduates. I want to talk to the older folks upstairs there for a second, and then I'll get back to you. One thing I would like to say, you know, when I left here 1967 or whatever, I always wanted to be in this stadium. You know, it was kind of I'd only been to Bellefontaine 3 years, but it was something special. Knowing a new stadium was being built was important to me. And I knew someday I'd make it back, so I had to come back here as a speaker. I would rather be standing over there looking this way than I am standing here today looking this particular direction. But I would also like to say that my real start in coaching was in Bellefontaine, Ohio, and I'll never forget it. And I know it sounds a little corny, and everybody's supposed to say those things, but a number of you will remember until 1969, a great victory that Michigan had, and I know it doesn't set well with a lot of you Buckeye fans, in 1969 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But some of the greatest thrills I had in coaching were right here. Going up to the public square and standing on the school bus and addressing the people, the crowd that had gathered because we won a title. The thing I want to take a minute of this occasion is just to say thanks to the people out there, the administration at that time, the faculty, the teachers, and all those people, in particular the players. Because my start really became here, and believe me, I read a lot about Bellefontaine. Every opportunity that I get, I try to find out something, and I tell people, and it's Bellefontaine to people in California, and you can imagine all over the world, they don't know how to pronounce it. But I'm very proud of this place, and they always ask me, where is that? But I also am very proud to tell them. And so I want to thank you for my start. And I guess that's all for you, and now I'm going to direct my comments to these young people over here. Brandon, thank you very much. I hope I didn't make you too nervous. You people got to understand a football coach at times hard to get a hold of. They like to hide once in a while, and believe me, he went to great lengths to contact me on several occasions, and I told him not to worry that I would be here. And be here because I'm very happy and very proud to be here. You know, and I know you've been asked this question a number of times, and you get sick of it. And it's been addressed in many ways. What are you going to do? You know, who asked you? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You hear it 6 times a day probably. People want to know, particularly people who are close to you and things that are important to you, they want to be involved in. And you know, you get different responses depending on your answer. Because some of you, you're going to go in all walks of life, you're going to go in all different directions. And the thing I tell you to carry with you, and it's been talked about here today, whatever you do and wherever you go, you take great pride in what you're going to do. And knowing and realizing this is the most important thing. What do you want to do? Don't do what your mom and dad necessarily want you to do. Don't go into this profession because of this or because of that. Do what you want to do. And the opportunity is out there, and it's your choice. You know, some of you didn't study hard enough. You're probably a lot like me, wondering what I was going to do. Why did I go to Ohio State University? I went there to play football. That was my main goal. I wanted to play football. Yeah, I knew the importance of an education, but I didn't concentrate on that like I did the football program. That was the most important thing to me. And yet today, as I look back, the most important thing
that I did was I received a degree, and a degree that let me do something in life that I'll never forget. The one thing you got to understand, and I want you to know about me, Gary Moeller, is that I am a happy person today because I am doing something that I love to do. And I would wish this on all of you, and I know you got those stars and you got those price tags and you got all those dollars sit in a row and where you want to go. And you got that car already picked out in the showroom that you want to drive. And all those things I know are important. But you know what's the most important thing you do? And sometimes you look at education and you wonder why teachers stay around in education as long as they do, and what do they get out of it? Do you realize that Gary Moeller doesn't go to work every morning? I'm not necessarily looking forward to retirement or to when I get my job done, because I love my job. When I go to work, I have fun. It's interesting. I would rather go to work sometimes than being involved in playing golf or something like that. I would only help or hope that you get that opportunity someday. Because, do you know, they all talk about a profession. You want to be a professional. Professional what? I'll tell you what being a profession is. It's your business, it's your direction, but when you are in something where you enjoy going to work and you love what you do, then you're in a profession. I don't care what the skill is. I challenge you also not to be afraid to leave home. Go out there. Challenge the world. Look. Investigate. Courage, as your superintendent just mentioned to you. It's not a tough word. Courage is just not being afraid, going out there. You wonder what's out there and what you can be. I'll tell you this, I go around to thousands of high schools since I've been in college football. And a lot of them are like Bellefontaine. There's a few of them that are probably a little better. And there are a lot of them a lot worse. The people you're going to be competing with out there have no stronger background than what you have. And that's important. And leave home. You can do anything. You know why I know you can do anything? Because of me. Not that I'm a great example or I've done anything great. I haven't even won a game. But yeah, I did. I won one. I was lucky, got to coach a bowl game, and we won it. But you know, I also know you can do anything. How in the heck would a guy leave Lima, Ohio, which many of you know where that's at, turn around and coach at Bellefontaine High School, go to Ohio State University, and then become the head coach of Michigan? Those people up there are still trying to figure this out, there's people in Ann Arbor. But it just shows you that the world is really open. And I know you hear this, oh, everybody can be president, everybody can do this. It's true. It's what do you want to do? But you know something? You don't have to be the president to be happy. And obviously you don't have to be the coach at Michigan. You have to do what you want to do. So you can do anything. The leading ground gainer at the University of Michigan, in all the times that school's been there, and it's had some great tradition and some great records, is a guy by the name of Jamie Morse, who the last couple of years has played with the Washington Redskins and next year will play for the New England Patriots. Set the Michigan all-time ground gaining record, was recruited to come to Michigan as a return specialist. He wasn't even supposed to run with the ball. He wasn't supposed to be that tailback. You know why? Because Coach Schembeckler, Coach Moeller, and all the coaches at Michigan knew one thing. Jamie Morse was too small. 5'6" coming to us, 170 pounds, and he's going to run the ball in the Big Ten? No way. Gained 600 yards as a freshman. As a freshman. Later graduated, and 1 year, as I said, become the all-time leading ground gainer, and went to the Washington Redskins. Has a record today for the number of carries in this giant game today with all these big people, as carrying the ball more than any individual in the NFL. 44 times in one game. They give this 5'6", at this time now 185-pound running back the ball. There is that opportunity out there for all of us, and we can do anything we want to do. I really believe that. As you get older, I think you recognize that. And you know, I would like for you to set up goals, set goals. I want you to look at this. You see this little blue thing here, it's a little dirty, and there's goals. We write these down. Michigan, we do this. You know, the college kids, we really do this stuff. You know, people talk to you about it. There's an example about it. Now, one you'll love in here under team goals, there's one that says BEAT, we abbreviate it OSU. That's number one on this list. I want you to know that. But we have a list up here, and this is the team goals we write down as a group, and we make them up just as you would a group right here. And down here you write your personal goals. And you have a copy of that, and you will share that with me as the head coach, because I can remind you at times of what direction you're going and where we're at. But you set out some goals. And don't be afraid to set goals, because everybody says, oh, I don't know if I want to do that because I'm not sure. I don't want. You can always change them. But you got to have direction in life, and goals will give you that direction. They can be short-term goals, intermediate term, and there's long-range goals. What is setting a goal but daydreaming? Brandon talking about the looking glass. It's the greatest thing. You know, there's two people in this world you can't lie to. You can't kid. And you know how we've all kidded our parents a little bit, or maybe shaded this or shaded that? And damn old mom, she sometimes understands. You know, those moms have eyes out of the back of their head. They know what you're doing a lot of times, and you know we've all experienced that. But the two people you can't kid, the one's yourself and the one's the good Lord. And in that looking glass, always take a little time to talk to yourself, as crazy as that may seem. When you lay in bed at night or sometime, you talk to yourself, you say, self, where are we going? What are we going to do? What direction? And God, was I proud of you today. Gee, I wish I wouldn't have done that. How many times have we looked and we've asked and we've addressed those questions with ourselves? But set some goals, give yourself direction, and then take aim on those. And the three things I want to cover within the next few minutes is the word aim at these goals. I want to talk a little bit about the attitude for the A. Image for the I, and the M is obviously for motivation. Because you got to take aim on these goals. Attitude. What's attitude? Everybody tells you to have a good attitude. You know what a good attitude is in Michigan? And I'm sorry for you girls, but a lot of you have been involved in athletics, but I want to address this just like I would a football player. And the team concept. But attitude is strictly one of the things we showed at Michigan is you're on time. You're never late. Why are you late? There's an excuse for being late? No, there aren't any excuses. If you are a player at Michigan, there's one time. It's on this watch. And you better hope that my watch runs correctly. But the best thing for you to do is really to be there 5 minutes early, then you'll never be late. Okay? I wasn't necessarily that disciplined when Brandon was my head coach. But, as I say, I didn't show up 5 minutes early, but at Michigan, that's very important. And you know, excuses. There are no excuses in life. You know why an excuse is so ugly no matter how good it is? Because every time you offer an excuse, you've just lost. You've lost. You're not winning. You have just lost. So you offer an excuse. There isn't a flat tire. There isn't this. There isn't that. You either get it done or you don't. You know, one year in Michigan, 3 years ago, Coach Schembeckler came up with this, and he says, okay, discipline. You know what discipline is? The fact that no one in here is going to complain. We're going to have a great attitude. We're going to have good discipline on this team, because the one thing we're going to have in our attitude is no one will complain. And wouldn't this be a beautiful world? Wouldn't our high school even be a little bit better? Because, you know, when we talk about discipline, and it sounds like such much like a strong word. And discipline is basically everybody joining in together and being together. And doing things for the betterment of the team and of the class. Everyone wants to be successful. I want everybody at Michigan to be successful. How do you measure success? Most of you, I can tell. You look at the guy's house, the car, the clothes that he wears or she wears, the way she dresses, what's success? Success is one thing, and always remember this. The only way anyone in this world can measure you, and the good Lord does the same, is where are you today and where will you end up tomorrow? Are you getting better or are you getting worse? Success is not measured always in the dollars and cents. Self-image. What is a self-image? What is a good self-image? How do you look in that mirror, as Brandon indicated earlier? You know, as in the Bible, it says one thing, and always remember this. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. It didn't say better. It didn't say your neighbor was more important, so you become very important. And you want to make sure that you always take care of yourself. Are you a party guy? Who do you follow? Who do you run around with? You know, each and every one of you this past year particularly should have been a leader because you're a senior. See, at Michigan, the football team, the good football players must lead our team. Because you know why? Just as you going to college or going into service or going into some training or going to work in a job, you don't know how to act. And that's why when you come to Michigan as a football player, you better find the right people to follow. And as a coaching staff, we put great emphasis on the leaders of that team showing the kids to the library and not to bar. Going in the right direction. When you take this next step in life, there is someone who you are going to follow, or a group of individuals. Make a wise decision. And you know, sometimes we talk about drugs. We talk about alcohol. We talk about all those things. You know, those things, those bad things that happen to the guy next door? You know, they never happened to me. Someone in this class, and a year from now, won't be here because of an accident caused in the wrong manner, because of something that someone else shouldn't be doing. We don't necessarily have that right. You want to know how to act? I'll tell you how to act. When you're going to make a decision, you make a decision based on your little brother or sister following right behind you. I was going to tell you your mother, but sometimes we want to get rid of those moms and dads, you know. They don't know what's cool. They don't really understand what life's all about. You know, parents are crazy. Those are those people that clap out here after someone told them they're not clap when they introduced me. No, you know, they aren't as crazy as you think. It's love. And some of you think you have been in love, and you really don't understand necessarily the word. And I know I'm old. You know why? Because I'm one of those parents. And you can tell when you've made it because you start repeating all those things that your parents used to say to you. Then you know you've really made it and you're old, okay? But who will you follow? And take that little brother or sister along to make that decision, and that is hard to do. I know. I've been there. I see it every day. I deal with it. The easy thing is to go along with the crowd and then go home and look yourself in the mirror and see what you look like. Talk to yourself. See, is this the right thing? Say, God, if I was a doctor, I wonder if someone would want me to operate on him now. Or who in the class would you go back to for an operation or maybe send that brother or sister in? Who would you look to? And you know you could be that person if you want to be. Every day, as I indicated to you, every single day, with every breath that you take, you get a little bit better or you get a little worse. You get worse. Because if you're ever here, what is that? What is that? It's death. That's death. You get better or you get worse. And life's a bunch of hills and valleys. But you never stay the same. You can't. Because you've lost all motivation and then you're in trouble. And a guy that many of you will remember, and I know your parents will remember, and this is something you always look back and you say, God, Mom and Dad and Aunt and Uncle are this. And you know, people I really thank, and how do I ever pay them back? How many of you know Woody Hayes? Woody Hayes, who was a great football coach at Ohio State, and I had the great opportunity to play for him. And I had the opportunity to coach against him. Was the most fun in coaching of my entire career. But you know what he said? You will never pay back. You don't have the opportunity to pay back. You can only pay forward. You must pay forward with your life. You go on. These people want to be proud of you, and you can pay them back because of the accomplishments you make, but they want you to pay forward. They want you to go ahead in life and to live on. We don't live this life we're going into going backwards. And appreciate our parents and understand what love was. Just as I did the day I turned 16 years old in Lima, Ohio, and I was jacked up because that morning I took my mom in to taking me down and getting me my driver's license, and I'm ready to go. And I had 3 guys waiting for me to come by and pick them up. We all been there? And I went in there and I ate so fast you couldn't believe it. I mean, I wanted to dump that plate at dinner time in my pocket so I could get going or feed it to the dog, right? I said, okay, Dad, I'm ready to go. Give me the keys. Give you the keys? Oh, no, I wasn't going anywhere. And so after a discussion, which I was fairly calm but very upset and very embarrassed because I had three good friends waiting down on the corner, right? I was going to pick them up. Running out of the door, slamming the door, the glass shattering in the front door. Now I'm in further trouble, and I'm 16 years old. You know what that is? It's a great example of love. It's one of the greatest examples. That's how corny those people are up there. Because my dad would really rather see me mad working, paying for that glass that I knocked out of the door, opposed to having me wrapped around a tree and dead. Because he understood that I may have my license. No way I have the ability to drive and go out and play a radio as loud as I could and not pay attention to what I was doing, right? I've been there. It's an opportunity. And the last letter in that word aim is motivation. Motivation. Let me ask you one thing. What are you willing to pay for life? You don't have to have a lot of money. You got to have effort. You can't cheat in school, and they can't copy work. And they have patents in the world to protect people who invent things. But you know one thing you can always steal from people? Is the desire to work. And you look around and you say, who does it the hard? Why were some of these people, and I know some of them are smart, and I wasn't that smart, and I wasn't a valedictorian, and they didn't read out a lot of scholarships for me when I graduated, although I was fortunate I got one, I guess, paid them my way to school, which was relatively important, but it wasn't for academics. So I guess that was important. But you know, the ideas you can steal from life from people. How many notes, and I'm not a musician and you ought to hear me sing, okay? But how many notes are there in music? 8? And how many songs? 8 notes. How many songs? It's an attitude. It's a desire. It's people wanting to go places. It's people not afraid to make a mistake. You know what a mistake is? Everyone makes it. What's a bad mistake? Things that we do improperly or wrong that we constantly repeat. That's the only mistakes we have at Michigan in our football program. The ones that you repeat are constantly mistakes. But I ask you and I challenge you with this thought. What are you willing to pay? It doesn't have to have a price tag. You don't have to have the money. Don't look over to the person next to you and be envious because they have all the money. Because you can have desire, you can have heart, and as I told you earlier, if I'm a coach from Ohio State that wants to Michigan, there's a lot of opportunities in this world. And I challenge you to take those. And I also challenge you to get a goal. Pick out something in life that you know you're truly going to enjoy. If it's something and you don't enjoy, change. Get out of it and go in a different direction, no matter how old you are. And on that. Have the attitude, the self-image that you need, and a great motivation. You are from Bellefontaine High School. I didn't graduate from here, but I talk about this place a lot. And I'm proud to say that I'm Bellefontaine. And I hope someday, and I'm sure that you will also say the same. I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you.
We're getting closer to that time that you've been looking forward to, when you can show everyone in the world that you have reached one of those first big goals in your life, and you can go anywhere with this piece of paper that we will be giving to you in a few moments. We hope that you will take that piece of paper, you will take your diploma, and you will display it proudly, and remember how much hard work it took for you to attain it. And I hope that you will continue your education no matter where you go in life, be it to a further institution of higher learning, whether it be to military service, or to learn a profession, a skill that will provide you with the things you need in life. You truly can become the best there is, and we hope that you will continue to hard work. To your parents, I'd like to thank them for the support that they have shown to our school system throughout the years that you have been part of it. We do truly have a fine school system. We hope that you will continue to support the schools as you have in the past, even though your children may no longer belong, so that The children who will follow will be the class of 91, and on through the years will truly have the same benefits that your children have had. With that, we will begin the presentation of diplomas.
Thank the many members of the faculty here at the high school who have assisted with the graduation program, and a particular note of thanks to Brian Snyder, who stepped in to fill the shoes of Gary Caldwell in awarding the scholarships. As principal of Bellefontaine High School, I am tremendously proud to present to attending educators, the community, parents, guests, and to the Board of Education, these senior students ready to receive their commencement diplomas. I hereby certify that they have completed their academic requirements and in that area have met all local and state standards. This diploma represents not a 4-year achievement of secondary education. Rather, it signifies completion of at least 12 years of formal schooling provided by the citizens of this community. This accomplishment by these young men and women honors not only themselves, but also their teachers, the community, and most definitely their parents. Many of these graduating seniors have already earned significant achievements and have contributed in a very positive manner to our society. Today represents a major milestone in the lives of these graduates. From this point, and with this foundation, they proceed to their destinies. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 1990 graduates of Bellefontaine High School. They deserve your applause. Will the members of the class of 1990 prepare to receive your diplomas? In order that all graduates receive equal recognition, it is requested that the audience refrain from applause until all seniors have been presented their diplomas. Brandon Kyle Stanley. Lynn Marie Golf. Amy Zoe Wireman. Kimberly C. Adams. Julie Marie Adkins. Laurie A. Akers. Darla Joe Arbogast. Daniel Artis. Nancy Joan Ashcraft. Rhonda Barnett. Chad Lamont Bayless. Chad D. Bailey. Mark Eric Bible. Emily Blair. Gregory Blair. Gretchen Amber Brewster. Danielle M. Bricker. Dion Amain Brown. Jason E. Brown. Jennifer K. Brown. David J. Bump. Michael Allen Burton. Charles Butler. Candace S. Carpenter. Lissa Michelle Carter. Shannon Christine Casey. Philip Bruce Casto. Clark C. Kayott. Noel A. Kayott. Heather L. Kobe. Scott Cordis Coleman. Monica Lynn Collette. Ty M. Cook. Patrick O. Cordell. Deborah Elaine Cost. Rebecca Jo Couchman. Sean Michael Cox. Robin Ann Craig, Catherine Ann Crane, Donald James Crum, Heather Kuntz Daniels, Heather Suzanne Davis, Chad David Dahl, Kimberly S. Dosek, Kathleen Jean Daup, Matthew David Driscoll, Jonathan Daniel Early, Shannon Marie Epps, Cassandra Lynn Ewing, Jennifer Ann Faber, Christina Mae Fergus, Cynthia Ann Friedendahl, Alicia Darlene Furby, Dewan Janelle Gaines, Chad A. Gamble, David Ganson, Ethan W. Gaunt, Carl Douglas Gayboy, Alan Russell Gayboy, Jennifer Jane Gleason, Shaft J. Gorham, Shelley Renee Graham, Richard Troy Grant, Rachel Christine Hall, Jennifer Hammond, Matthew Chad Harshbarger, Michael Brett Hart, Renee Danielle Hawley, Nels Halvor Hiron, Jeffrey Todd Heiser, David Allen Henderson, Lissa D. Hollepeter, Teresa K. Horsley, Todd M. Householder, Jerry L. Huffman, Sue Ann Hutchins, Molly Beth Inslee, Eric Scott Jackson, Teresa Ann James, Robert Talmadge Johnston, Jeffrey Jones, Krista J. Jones, Allison J. Carg, Jonathan C. Carabo, Holly Joe Kern, Chad R. Keller, Kelly Ann Kellogg, Nathan Kearns, Marcy Lynn King, George Kinney, Jennifer Kirkbride, Kenneth Lambert, David A. Lane, Stephen Brian Lantis, Denise Rochelle Levan, Michelle Marie Lloyd, Dawn M. Mabry, Rochelle Lynn Madison, Patricia Lynn Marquis, Janet M. Marvin, M. Lavelle Macbeth, Donna Latrice Middlebrook, David Miranda, Polly A. Miranda, Yolanda Danielle Moore, Juana Lee Moran, Sherry L. Mosier, Devery Ann Myers, Heidi Lynn Myers, Nanette Suzanne Newman, Daniel Nichols, Colleen M. O'Connor, Jill Eileen Oakley, Don Michelle Oppie, James Ewers Orkins Jr., John R. Ortley, Douglas Parker, Chris Marshall Parmer, Nicole J. Parmer, Raquel Ann Patrick, Amy Suzanne Peak, Janet Lynn Picanew, Julie Ann Petno, Terry Payton, Chad R. Pitcock, Larry Poole, Elizabeth A. Porter, Amy Michelle Reed, Robert Paul Rhodes, Candace Jacqueline Richards, Kristen K. Roberts, Stephanie Michelle Roberts, Louise F. Rodriguez, Michael James Runyon, Norman Russell, Masa Sato, Elizabeth Ann Schmidt, Scott Edward Schneider, Aaron Michelle Scott, Tisa Michelle Scott, Lisa M. Shawhan, April Nanette Short, Casey Sims, William Matthew Skidmore, Tracy Nicole Smith, Elizabeth Joy Smucker, Kendall Dean Smucker Jr., Leland Snyder, Chad Ryan Summerlot, Stacy Ray Stam, Angela J. Stewart, Danielle Lynn Stokes, Melissa Ray Stokes, M. Sean Stokes, Thomas W. Stout, Joanna Lynn Sullivan, David Swartz, John Michael Tabor, Aaron Eugene Taylor, Angeline L. Taylor, Todd R. Taylor, Michael Tremaines, Melissa D. Vance, Corey Michael Van Hoos, Keely Wappelhorst, Tom E. Watkins, Jeffrey Allen Weber, Brett A. Welsheimer, Adrienne Wood, Christy Ann Woodruff, Billy Joe Woodrum, Heather Ono Woods, Jonathan Matthew Yosteen, Kelly Joe Yost, L. Allen Ziegler, Jeanette Zebro. Will the graduates of 1990 please rise? Seniors, you may turn your tassels. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present the Bellefontaine High School's most recent alumni.
Let us join to receive the benediction. And now unto him who by the power at work within us is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, to him be glory through the lives and aspirations, the choices and the journeys of these new graduates this day and of those who shall come after them. Amen. There they go.
Take 185 copies. I'll take a copy of each. Just for my, yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's fine. I made my comments about it.
Camera like that, I could take pictures.
What's happening to the right now? Should I keep it a time? I told him, but I tried to do it. Just like this, baby. Well, but he started. I'm supposed to say. He started.